It's Numbers Don't Lie, powered by Sofascore here on CBS Sports. Golazo, JayDee Dyer Nico Cantor, ready to ask the question. Is Nico Paz Europe's best number 10? Stop.
Come on.
Stop.
Come on. I can hear the typers already. I can hear them in the comments. Did Nico just say that? Did Nico just open that question mark up?
How about this?
Okay.
He's the most dominant 10 in Europe for his team.
Graphics department's not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, but it's okay. But I mean, you got to sell it somehow. But I do think he's one of the most dominant 10s for his team, if not the most dominant 10 in a setup, because he is Mr. Como at the moment. I mean, we look at the top 10, 5-rated players in Serie A when you consider their Sofascore rating. He's performing at that level. And look at his age, bro. He is mature beyond his years for a 21-year-old player. It's almost like Real Madrid saw something in him and said, he needs to go mature elsewhere. He's not ready for Madrid yet. Let him run the show somewhere so he understands the responsibility, and then we'll bring him back, which feels like inevitably what's going to happen at the end of the season.
But they have a history of this. Yeah, Casemiro was one that they sent out and then brought back, and then all of a sudden you become a club legend. Am I saying that about Nico Paz? There's a lot of work to be done, especially to be a legend at Real Madrid. But what I've seen on that, especially at Como, has been nothing short of sensational. I will start by saying he has one of the best minds in terms of on the touchline to help him develop, because I can see the similarities in terms of their games. The goals and the assists, the goal involvements, and the Sofascore ratings is credit to the work that he's put in. But also I think that Cesc Fabregas seems to be unlocking a level of elegance and directness in regards to this player, because we've always known he's had the passing range and the ability to unlock any team.
Yeah.
But it's the other things that he's doing now in terms of to help his team win games that I think has put him into a different conversation.
His positioning also, he can drop deep, he can thread balls through, he can be impactful in his own half, he can be impactful in the attacking half, he can be impactful inside of the box, outside of the box, he can hit a free kick or two. He's a different type of player. He's got an air of Dybala in him when Dybala was starting out, and you say, whoa, this kid has some serious future. Just like the thing is that Dybala hit his ceiling, and you're just hoping Nico Paz has a higher ceiling than that for the future of Argentina. I mean, duels won, tackles won. We're talking about defensive attributes here.
Facts.
It's not just offensive attributes.
And that's the part I love about his game. He affects it on both sides of the pitch. He does want to do the dirty work. He wants to push. He wants to engage. He's usually the person that starts the press for his team. But then once he gets the ball, he knows exactly what to do with it. And that's the composure, the elegance, and the technique that you can't just teach anybody. Shock, his dad, of course, went to a World Cup. And now, obviously, we're having a conversation about a player that probably could be putting himself into the upper echelons of an Argentinian sort of thought process for the World Cup squad because of his performances on a consistent basis.
I mean, if I'm Scaloni, I take him.
Have to.
He's that type of player, especially for some reason. You got to think, if you don't have Messi, you can put in a Nico Paz and he can give you something similar. I mean, look at the attacking midfielders in the top 5 leagues compared to everybody in the world. Goals and assists per game, it's his output, right? In the successful dribbles per game. There's only one person that's better in both categories than him, and it feels like it's Michael Elise, but he's in the top tier, like you mentioned, of players that are willing to take people on, that excite you, and not only that, they deliver.
Can I be an antagonist for a second? Because I know my boy Nico to Nico, they're going to support each other, both Argentine. They're going to support each other. Well, Argentine by passport, right? We'll say that. But what I would say is,
Argentine by passport, not even passport, but it's, I think we have the same Argentine background, by the way.
You hear that? I knew that was going to come up and trigger somebody. But what I would say is, when I look at him in this conversation, I don't know if he's in this conversation. You're talking about the best 10s in world football. I know what the numbers will say in terms of about Cole Palmer and Bruno and Michael Elise and, of course, Jamal Musiala, who's not there on that list. But overall, is Nico Paz entering that echelon? Is he entering that? Or has he got a system right now that is catered around him with a manager who knows how to unlock him? Would he be able to do exactly the same thing if he went back to his parent club and represented for Real Madrid?
I mean, that's the big question, right? Let's take a look very quickly and then we move on. These duels won and these tackles won per game, like this, look how much he stands out. It's a system, yes, that allows him to stand out on both sides of the ball. He's influential. He's playing for Como, right? It's not the same thing as playing for Real Madrid. Heck, it's not the same thing as playing for Juventus, not the same thing as playing for Milan, some of your better teams even in Serie A. But let's take a look and have this debate about what would it look like if he was to join Real Madrid, because it's not what if, it's when he joins Real Madrid, how he's going to fit into this squad, and can he have the same type of impact with the star-studded 11 that Real Madrid has. I mean, essentially, we're swapping him in here for Arda, Güler, right? And it's not even that. There's another creative left-footed Argentine midfielder at Real Madrid in Franco Mastantuono already. What are you feeling, JayDee?
I'm just going to open up the question mark. I'm going to look you directly down the camera and say to you, I don't see this being Real Madrid's starting 11 next year. I don't see them pushing out Arda Güler because of the confidence that he started with. And obviously, Xabi Alonso's had a whole season to work with him. Yeah. Also, my question marks immediately will go, where's your width in this team? Trent's not going to be your up and down. He dictates the game from a completely different angle. The same on the opposite side. I mean, he's a little bit more direct overall, but like when you think about this team, where's your width? Where's your creativity? Where's your actual balance in terms of overall as a team coming from? You're basically saying, I'm going to build around Nico Paz, and I'm asking you now, does that solve all of Real Madrid's problems? I think or no?
In theory, right? Just looking at it on paper, we're playing FIFA at this point, right? You're with, you do get it in Valverde. You got two good fullbacks that get high. Bellingham. How about this? We were talking already on this show about Bellingham being influential in these areas of the field.
100%.
What if, in theory, looks like more of a 4-2-2, you slot Nico Paz, because we mentioned how deep he can get and how influential on the ball is, and that's what Real Madrid has been desperately missing. That guy that can pick up the ball, that can be that first option out of the back and start constructing, be that metronome. So maybe if you slot him in next to Tchouaméni and Bellingham further up the field, where Bellingham can be the most impactful where he is most impactful, which is closer to the strikers, perhaps you got an answer to that. But the thing is that Xabi Alonso tried making Arda Güler that type of player, and it hasn't worked out to the best yet.
In terms of the consistency, but I think you're onto something. I think moving Bellingham forward and making it a 2-2, it takes me back to the original Real Madrid that I grew up on, when you had Zidane and Figo that were interchanging and both knowing that they could both come inside, they could both play off a different position, but when it came down to defensive, they went straight back into a 4 and everyone found their positions again.
Bellingham does that already,
he
right?
Does.
And why do you think he drifts so much left? Because in that 4-4-2, that sometimes the defensive phase, Bellingham is out wide, and there he has a quicker partnership with, it's either Mbappe floating, Vinicius floating, but now you got a question. All right, if Arda Güler has kind of been able to do it, it's an extremely similar profile of player that you're trying to swap out. Is it going to work?
That's the question mark, because I now ask you, as much as these stats are going to favour Nico Paz, and he can have the smile he wants in terms of on the graphic, all he wants, but in a Real Madrid team, you're not going to get the most amount of dribbles. Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, they're not going to sit here and be like, yeah, okay, Vinny's going to be like, yeah, go and take as many dribbles as you want. Yeah. Vinny is going to look at him and be like, pass me the ball right now. And this is where it comes back to Xabi Alonso having to manage those egos once again, because he knows his role in this team is going to be completely different. This is where I do think he can add extreme value, though, because you talk about Jude, and what we've given Jude credit for is his ability to go up and down, his dynamic behaviour in terms of on the pitch, and the duels won and the balls recovered because of the work rate in the industry. Having two players in that position that are willing to do that now adds a completely different aspect. And that's where Arda Güler, I'm not saying he's bad, but clearly Nico Paz is a completely different animal when it comes to that.
The one thing that I would say is that you can't lose the ball when you grab that and translate it into Real Madrid. And Nico Paz, just because the game flows through him a lot, he's allowed to make those mistakes because Cesc Fabregas has empowered him. It's like, go, search, take those risks. He's the person that loses the ball the most for Como. So it's how are you efficient being on the ball, showing that quality in moments, finding the outlets, not losing the ball. We've seen Arda lose the ball, and we've seen that lead to a mistake that ends up in a goal for the other team. Because Toni Kroos would never lose the ball. But Toni Kroos is not these types of players, and Real Madrid is still begging for that type of control that players like Luka Modric, that Toni Kroos gave Real Madrid, that they were able to impose themselves, keep the ball, and then switch play, decompress, and have that authority keeping tempo, and there's no tempo setters.
What I will say about Nico Paz is we're always going to give you flowers on this show, and what he's done in terms of his performances this year has put him into the minds of fellow Argentines as to whether or not he should be included in incredible performance for the 26 World Cup, right? And when I start comparing him to the other, I would say younger players that are coming through that are trying to establish, let's say, the post-Messi era.
Yeah.
Nico Paz is entering a different type of conversation as to whether or not he can lead his country now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Argentina is starting to understand what it's like to have dual nationals in Nico Paz. But it's not only Nico Paz. You saw in that graphic Matias Soulé. You also saw Franco Masantuono. These are the future stars of the Argentine national team. Argentinian offensive player in the top 5 leagues. You add goals and assists per game on the x-axis, and then you add performance on the y-axis. Nico Paz is doing so incredibly well, along with Julian and Lautaro Martinez. These are obviously 2 incredible players. The question is this guy going to fulfill the hype? How will he be on an Argentina team beyond Messi? Because Argentina needs to, because they'll have to at one point.
You've got to move on beyond
Messi. And what does Argentina post Messi look like? And there's this young group of guys, like I mentioned, the Franco Masantuonos of the world, the Nico Pazes of the world, that want to really grab the bull by the horns and show the quality that they have. And if there's going to be a creator, it feels like it's going to be between one of these 2 guys, because I think they are that good.
Look, the numbers have supported Nico today. Yeah, both Nico, my brother here, and of course Nico Paz on the graphic. But what I would say is maybe we should scratch this off and say not just Europe's now entering a conversation about the world's best number 10, because clearly there's an identification. He hasn't quite convinced me yet, but I know the Argentinian community is going to say something completely different. Yeah, we let them go in the comments?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You guys tell us, is Nico Paz Europe's best 10, most dominant 10? Tell me what you guys think about this guy. Hey, thanks for watching this video from Numbers Don't Lie. Be sure to catch our show every Monday at 5 p.m. on YouTube, and for news and insights from leagues all around the world, including Serie A, EFL, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's. Don't forget to sign up for Paramount Plus.